I know everybody out here today. Hi, how are you? Good to see you as well. You got my chair? 'Cause them chairs be like moving up and down. Oh,
Is it the short one?
turn my phone off because honey, they was ringing.
Good morning. Sorry, we thought we had enough time to get out here on time, but we did have an executive session on a personnel matter. And good morning again. Welcome to the City of Chester City Council meeting for today, Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. As always, we're going to open with our prayer. So let's rise, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for another day, another opportunity to give glory and honor unto you. It is written in your scriptures, in your holy book, that when the righteous are in authority, that the people rejoice. And so, as we have another opportunity to stand before our mayor and council and leaders of the city of Chester, we pray that you guide this session in righteousness. Let those who have been elected and selected to protect and serve you in this place with integrity and professionalism. As the business is in order and is conducted today, we thank you that every decision will support the good and the welfare of our community and benefit a secure future for our citizens. We pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The invocation was brought to us by the leader of our Police Chaplains Corps, Ms. Lisa Dennis. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilors Gibson Williams,
Present.
Green,
Present.
Davis,
Present.
Mayor Roots.
Present. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the January 22nd meeting?
So moved. Second.
Any questions, comments, Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson Williams,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes. It's time for public comments on agenda items only. Do we have any? Moving on. Oh, before we move on, I got to make one quick announcement. There's an important hearing early afternoon that I must attend. So if this meeting does not end by 11:45, you may see me slipping out of here. But I think we're going to be done. No public comments, so we're moving on. We are there we go. Old business, new business. This is a time for council to share any old business or new business that you'd would like to share. Anyone?
Oh yeah, big shout out to the Public Works Department for clearing the streets today. He was able to get Thank you guys for the hard work that you guys do day in and day out.
Anything else?
Yes. I want to give a shout out to the Lady Clippers, new 1,000 Point Club member, Miss Imani Dorsey. Young lady, she wears number 4. She's a junior at Chester High. It's, newest member of the 1,000 Point Club. That's major. A lot of different things have been happening in our community lately, so we definitely have to make sure we celebrate all the positive things, support our young people, and continue to make sure they're uplifted and make sure they feel supported from us. So I just want to recognize that young lady.
And, and since we're recognizing people, can we recognize Chester's own Ronell Williams for the Super Bowl win? He brought it back home.
I mean, Ronell Williams wasn't the quarterback, but he is the linebacker
That's okay.
coach.
That's all right. He was the coach. He coached
And he is
them.
homegrown, so we are excited about that. I got a couple of things on my list to piggyback on Councilman Davis. Not only did we have a 1,000-point score, actually 2 this year for the girls team, the girls high school team. They got the best record this year that they've ever had. I think it's 19-3. Am I right, Kim? I see you nodding. 19-3. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Coach Dukes, who's just a marvelous coach. I'm so glad he's back working with these young ladies, and they've had some lean years. And to see a turnaround like this is amazing. The boys team, undefeated in Del Val again this year. Let's give them a hand. And we visited, some of us on council, what do we call it, the Day of Prayer? City, what's it called? Prayer for the City? Interfaith Prayer at Catherine Drexel. And boy, did we get the business from those Catherine Drexel students. They read a couple essays that they wrote, and they were an example of how we love to see community engagement. They put us to task. One young lady in particular really hit hard when she talked about girls' participation in the community, particularly in sports. She was like, I'm tired of seeing basketball and football. We need stuff for the girls. So to see the girls being celebrated in high school basketball is great. We have to also recognize the girls' track team, who always produce state champions. And this year, I'm trying real hard, you guys, to get the Memorial Park, one of the softball fields, ready for girls softball. The fields, in as bad shape as they are used by the Chester Community Charter School. Their girls teams practice there, but we're looking to invest a little bit of money in getting a real field out there for girls softball and softball instruction for this spring. He touched on Public Works. For those of you who showed up on Saturday, SPO Wrestling was at Harrah's. They just do a phenomenal job engaging the community in that event. It was super well attended and a lot of fun. And I want to thank again our Commissioner of Public Health, Dr. Kristen Motley, for all the fingers you have out here in the community. You're keeping us abreast on the Crozier Hospital situation, our ambulance situation, lead, leading the lead task force. Thank you so much for all that. Okay, that's everything I have to say.
Let's not forget the flag football team.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
That's the one I
those girls
forgot.
do a phenomenal job too.
Yes, flag football started last year, I believe, and it's a club sport right now, but I know a lot of school districts are incorporating that as part of their athletic program. So hopefully Chester can adopt it as well, because those girls showed off last spring and summer. I think they play.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, there was actually a national commercial advertised that they would like to have it in all 50 states, women's flag football. So it'd be exciting to see that brand being published on a national level and get that support really recognized for our young ladies is really important. So mention the Super Bowl. I'm glad we touched on that.
I'm not going to try to spell Eagles. We have a presentation that we want to do before we get to the resolutions. And before we do the presentation, we have a short video that we want to share. It's on the agenda today. It's number, oh, I don't know, R something. Where is it? R24. It's a GoGov. We've talked about it before. It's an application we're looking to bring into the city. You know, we're strapped for money. it's something that we want to do. Community engagement is really important to us here, communicating from City Hall to our residents and having them come back to us with their thoughts and feelings and beliefs and needs and desires and complaints is important too. We know we're challenged with telephones. I'm almost to the point that telephones don't work anymore for this type of engagement. But a mobile app is perfect. So many people change numbers and it's hard to keep up. Internally, we're having a hard time with our own phone system, trying to figure out who should get the calls for the various things that come forward. I guess before we show the presentation, we have a couple visitors here today who are going to make a presentation. We have Vince Rangioni and Andrew Nelson from the organization called the Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority. My job as mayor, one of my biggest tasks is to bring the money. So wrote a grant, they honored it. So we have been granted fully, thank you so much, to purchase this app, which is going up for council approval today. So thank you guys so much. Let's see the video. It's about 1.5 minutes, so you can see exactly what we're talking about in a short video clip.
GoGov is software that makes government simple for citizens, staff, and elected officials. GoGov Notifications simplifies the process of communicating with your citizens by providing a trusted source of information for events, alerts, and notices directly from your agency. Keep everyone informed by sending messages on any topic, such as road closures, events, storm warnings, emergency alerts, office closings, and more. GoGov Notification starts with a mobile app that is branded for your municipality and makes it easy for citizens to connect with you right from their smartphones. Your citizens will love the useful information included in the app, like important phone numbers, elected officials' bios, local places, social media pages, and other website content. Sending a message is as easy as writing an email. Messages support all kinds of formatting, including bullets, images, links, headings, and more, and can be delivered across multiple channels, including push alert, email, and social media. Also, you can easily target specific groups of citizens through subscriber lists and other options. And for agencies that need to manage citizen responses to their messages, you can enable two-way communication and route questions to specific departments or staff using GoGov CRM. Ultimately, all of this helps you focus on what's important, engaging your community and strengthening the relationship between government and your citizens. Get started today. GoGov. Government made simple.
That was cute. Thank you. Thanks for finding that, Justin.
Most people have no.
The Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority, also known as DeSigra, is 3 years old now, in its third year. The money that they get, that they grant throughout the county, is from a hometown source called Harrah's Casino. Many of us know that Harrah's is the biggest slice of pie when it comes to revenue in the city of Chester, and that's basically from the slots. As table games came in, that cut of money didn't come directly to the city, and when interactive gaming came to the casino, it didn't come to the city either, but it did go to the county. So the county had the foresight to create an authority to dispense that money. I was a charter member of the board, and these are two of the guys who are not charter members, but Andrew took my place. He was selected by Delaware County Council to replace me when my term ended December 31st, 2024. So we're really proud to have a Chester representative still on that board. And Vince replaced Doreen Story, for those of you who know her, not long after the authority started. She moved out of the county, so had to be replaced by someone. So it's a great organization chaired by Paul Johnson, who couldn't be here today. He teaches at Montgomery County Community College, but he would have loved to have been here. Richard Womack from the county was scheduled to be here, but he had an emergency meeting. The other two members would be Francis Sheehan, Many people know her from the Foundation for Delaware County and Ron Evans. So today, these guys have the floor. Let's get you a microphone, and I'll come down and receive what you want to give me, because I'm all about taking it.
You want a picture or you want to?
Yeah.
All right.
To go somewhere.
Sure. No, thank you so much, Mayor Roots and Chester City Council. It's an honor to be here today. I am Vincent Rangione. I'm the Vice Chair of the Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority. Andrew Nelson is our treasurer. And we take very seriously our responsibility to reinvest this money in communities of most need and to foster community and economic development. This project is right up that alley. We were absolutely thrilled to receive the application from Mayor Roots and the city, and it's really an honor to support this kind of work. We know the financial situation that everybody in the country finds themselves in, and specifically the situation here in the city of Chester. So the fact that your city council and your mayor are continuing to push forward on important and innovative initiatives is really an incredible testament to them and their work, and also just the soul of the city and its future. So we're thrilled to present this check and honored to be here today.
I agree with everything Vince said. We're going to continue to make sure we're getting the work done to get those dollars back to the communities where they're needed the most. This is a tremendous example of it. We're going to increase communication with the city and the residents. We're going to increase transparency, access, so it's a win all across the board. So thank you for applying.
How much, yeah.
The full cost of the first year of the app, $13,860.
Let's clap, y'all. Very good. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good point.
I can't catch that.
Smart man.
Where's my finance guy?
Give it to Fran. Fran's right there. Fran, take the check.
Well, then you don't have to.
I agree, say Fran right there.
Technology is good. I done cashed that check before y'all did.
We're good for it.
Councilman Fran right there, she ready to walk out the door with it.
I failed to mention that in the 2 years I was on the board, over $250,000 from DeSigra came into the city of Chester. Police department, fire department, Boys and Girls Club, Making a Change group, so many of the local nonprofits benefited. I wish I could remember them all. So they're constantly there for grants. So make sure you look at desigra.org when the grants are available. You should be applying. They do favor Chester. And if those names sound familiar, Andrew Nelson, man, they ran out of here. He's the CFO of Chester Stormwater Authority, and Vince Rangione is the Register of Wills at Delaware County. So just in case you've heard those names before, you can put a face to the name. Thank you again. Thank you, guys.
You too.
All right, Madam Clerk, you're on.
Resolution, the council of the city of Chester does resolve that it does hereby authorize promotional testing to be given by the Civil Service Board to all eligible candidates for the position of captain in the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments, Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson Williams?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Mayor, my apologies, I have a question. We had another presentation on here. Are we not doing that one, or is that going to be later?
What's the other?
vacant building placard system by our fire commissioner.
We'll do that at the end.
Okay,
Okay. I just wanted to get those guys out of here.
no problem.
Not that they couldn't have stayed, but they have work to do.
Resolution, whereas Chester City Council elected to table a resolution 94-2024 approving the preliminary and/or final land development plan application submitted by Asset Realty and Construction Group Incorporated for 1020 Morton Avenue. And whereas there has been a transfer of ownership of 1020 Morton Avenue and the original applicant no longer has any equitable interest in the property. Now therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that in accordance with recommendations of the Chester City Planning Commission dated August 14th, 2024, and reviewed by the Delaware County Planning Commission on October 19th, 2023, it does hereby grant final land development approval for Dino Tomasetti to construct a 32,100 square foot, 6-story self-storage facility, together with associated parking and landscaping, located at 1020 Morton Avenue, Chester, PA, 19013, as shown on a plan prepared by Dynamic Engineering Consultants, PC, 1515 Market Street, Philadelphia, PA, 19102, dated September 24th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions?
Yeah, I'll make a comment. Normally, I would be voting no for this, but unfortunately, our hands are tied. And our solicitor is here, and I'm going to ask him to explain for the record why our hands is tied and why we pretty much have to vote yes on this.
So, Mr. Fritz, please correct me if I'm wrong on anything here. Originally, this plan was submitted a couple years ago, made its way through the City Planning Commission, County Planning Commission zoning. When it came time for approval of a resolution such as this, we noticed that the prior owner was one whom owns a number of properties in Chester for which delinquencies were still owed. Under the Neighborhood Blight and Reclamation Act, we thought there might be an opportunity to potentially hold up some permitting and/or try to compel that owner to clear up some of these delinquencies. Within that process, as time passed, the original owner and applicant for this project transferred the property a number of times to a different LLC, therefore transferred his equitable interests. I reviewed the county records, I reviewed the transactional documents, I reviewed all the agreements of sale, and it does appear that that delinquent property owner is fully divested from this property and no longer has any equitable interest. And since it's made its way through all the necessary steps and was at the door for approval, I don't see a legal reason to deny this application since it has met the requirements for the land development. It was given a use variance by zoning. There was a few conditions that were set forth within the final land development. So despite this not being the most optimal use for the property, it does seem that the applicant has met their legal requirements for an approval.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Yes, I just want to make the comment, just to piggyback over that in layman terms. Unfortunately, there are individuals that try to come into our community and just continue to can do business as normal without taking care of their prior responsibilities. And that's something that is, slowly but surely deteriorating our community because you have to take care of the properties that you have before you try to come into our community and build new properties. So this would be something as well, I agree with Councilman Green, that I would have been voting no to as well. However, with the save us some time with going to court and legal fees and different things like that, we're going to make sure this process is done correctly with all the proper permits, the proper planning, zoning, everything is done to the T. So that way we can make sure that this new, I guess, building is in complete standard and up to par with what the city of Chester is looking for when its redevelopment is talked about. You know, cleaning up our community, make it look more positive. We're going to make sure as mayor and council that we do that with this building, even if, you know, we might not want it here. So that's something that I wanted to touch on.
And I too share the same sentiments as both Councilors Davis and Green. People just can't come in and do whatever they want to do. And this was out of our hands, and I would not have agreed to it. But through our conversation, we pretty much have no choice but to agree. So that's the only reason that I am agreeing, is because we have no other choice.
And Paul, before we move forward, did you want to say anything, or for the record, or I seen you over there?
Yeah, just real quick, I think Kyle did a good job explaining the history of this site, and your understanding of it is correct. And by doing the vote today, we're actually meeting that 90-day requirement. So I agree, going forward, the city is going to be very diligent in reviewing our applications and making sure the ownership and et cetera is dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So I appreciate the support going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, that's our planning director, Paul Fritz. I'll just add one final comment. As you heard, this was approved a couple years ago through zoning and planning. I love this new council because they ask a lot of questions. So much so that we're showing up to the planning and zoning meetings as well, so we can see these projects as they first come before us. We've heard the legal opinions, but I think overall, all of us, or at least I'll speak for myself, when I first saw these plans rolled up in our Community and Economic Development office, I was like, what is this? And what it is a storage facility. It's a place that's going to be 6 stories tall, and it's a place where you could self-store. It's in a location that I would rather it wouldn't be, and that would be more of the reason why it probably would have been challenged in those early stages. But once it's approved with zoning and planning, and then there's a time period when they meet all the legal and land development obligations, it's left for us to vote on. And we're at that point now where we have to vote. If we vote no, it's going to move forward. If we vote yes, it's going to move forward. But it was important for everyone to share their opinions of the project. Trust me, as projects come forward with this mayor and council, we are taking a look at everything. So we are not putting ourselves or future mayor and councils in this similar predicament. Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson Williams?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby approve an agreement with GoGov to provide government software subscription services for Chester City mobile app and citizen request management, known as CRM, to enhance community engagement, streamline operations, and foster transparent communication with the community. The first-year subscription service will be covered by a grant from the Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority, known as DCI-GRA, with the approval of Delaware County Council. Further, it does authorize the proper city official to execute the necessary documents for and on behalf of the City of Chester. Even further, said agreement is contingent upon final review and approval of the city solicitor.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? I think we've heard a couple times that this is a subscription service that would be renewed next year if we choose to use it. So we could look at this GoGov product as a trial, and it's great that we've had someone to grant us the money to have this trial. If it's well received by the community, it will be requested that it's put in next year's budget. It wasn't in this year's budget, hence the grant. Madam Clerk.
Councilors Gibson, Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Root.
Yes.
Resolution, whereas the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, known as DEP, is authorized under Section 4A of the Air Pollution Control Act, 35 PS Sections 4001 to 4015, to conduct atmospheric sampling programs. And whereas the DEP has selected 5 intersections within the city of Chester that would be ideal areas to monitor the air quality. And whereas DEP wishes to install 5 air monitoring stations and its equipment at the designated locations for an 18-month period. Now therefore the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby approve entering into a license agreement between the City of Chester and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for each selected intersection to allow DEP the ability to access, install, maintain, operate, and remove air monitoring stations and associated equipment at its own expense at the designated locations within the City of Chester. Further, it does authorize the proper city official to execute said agreements for and on behalf of the City of Chester. Further, said agreements are contingent upon final approval of the city solicitor.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Here I go again. I just want to recognize Councilman Davis. He was on the radio this week on WURD, Black Talk Radio in Philadelphia, on the Eco Word program, and the last question that was asked of him is, what is the city government doing to address the environmental issues we have in this town? And you gave a great answer, and the one area of work that our Dr. Kristen Motley is doing is also tracking the Department of Environmental Protection and the things that they are in control of here. We're just really pleased to have the Department of Environmental Protection install these monitors here in the city of Chester. It's a really proactive move on their part that will definitely benefit the city with some real data to work with when it comes to the levels of pollution in our town. Thank you, Councilman Davis.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson, Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes.
Resolution, whereas the City of Chester intends to submit an application for funding under the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Developments, known as HUD, Community Development Block Grant, which is CDBG program, and Home Investment Partnerships, again, is a home program. And whereas one of the requirements is to inform the citizens of the City of Chester regarding the city's intended uses for the funds requested from HUD under the CDBG and home programs. And whereas HUD requires that the City of Chester, once every 5 years, prepare a 5-year consolidated plan that outlines the current conditions of the city and the range and priority of needs to which the city expects to allocate its annual appropriation of CDBG and home funds. And whereas the Chester Economic Development Authority, on behalf of the City of Chester, is preparing a draft of the fiscal year 2025 through 2029 consolidated plan and a draft of the fiscal year 2025 CDBG and home action plan, which identifies the projects and program activities on which the program year 2025 CDBG and home funds are proposed to be spent. And whereas in conjunction with the preparation of the draft consolidated plan and action plan, the city is preparing a draft of an analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, which serves to identify barriers to fair housing in the city and to create goals to address such barriers. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does authorize the Chester Economic Development Authority to take the appropriate steps to ensure that the requirements for public notification are met and to advertise the availability of the draft 2025 through 2029 Consolidated Plan, the draft 2025 CDBG/Home Action Plan, and the draft analysis of impediments to fair housing choice in accordance with the appropriate federal regulations.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Community Development Block Grants is one of the targets of our new federal administration, President Trump and all. We just hope it will continue. It's been very important for small businesses, particularly in the city, to receive funding, and for some of the areas in city government. I would encourage you to pay close attention to the future of these block grants. Contact your congressperson, your U.S. senators, if you want to advocate, have them advocate for the continuing of these block grants coming to the city of Chester. Madam Clerk.
Councilors Gibson, Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Root.
Yes.
Resolution, whereas by resolution dated September 10th, 1972, the Housing Development Corporation of Chester authorized the Chester Redevelopment Authority to manage its properties located in the city of Chester. And whereas by resolution dated June 22nd, 1995, the City Council of the City of Chester authorized the dissolution of the Chester Redevelopment Authority. And whereas upon the dissolution of the Chester Redevelopment Authority, control of all real property titled to or managed by the Chester Redevelopment Authority passed to the City of Chester. And whereas the City of Chester desires to return such real property titled to the Housing Development Corporation of Chester to productive use. Now therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby authorize the transfer of 900 West 2nd Street, folio number 49-08-00002-00 to the new redevelopment authority of the City of Chester for redevelopment purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson, Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes.
All right, here goes that long one again, y'all.
Right.
Resolution, resolved, the City of Chester, known as City, does hereby adopt the resolutions set forth below and certifies that such resolutions are in accordance and conformity with the depositor's governing documents, all agreements with third parties, and all laws applicable to the depositor. Resolved that Santander Bank, N.A., known as the Bank, be, and hereby is, has designated a depository for the funds of the city subject to the terms and conditions of the Business Deposit Account Agreement for 6 accounts, with authority to accept at any time for the credit of the city's deposits in checking, saving, money market savings, term, or any other account by whomsoever, made in whatever manner endorsed. And resolved that the bank shall not be liable in connection with the collection of such items that are handled by the bank without negligence, and the bank shall not be liable for the acts of its agents, sub-agents, or for any other casualty. And resolved that the city assumes full responsibility for and shall indemnify the bank against all losses, liabilities, and claims resulting from payments, withdrawals, or orders made or purported to be made in accordance with or from actions taken in good faith and a reliance upon these resolutions. And resolved that the bank be and hereby is authorized and directed to certify pay, or otherwise honor all checks, drafts, notes, bills of exchanges, acceptances, undertakings, and other instruments or orders for the payment, transfer, or withdrawal of money for whatever purpose and to whomsoever payable when such instruments and orders are properly made, signed, or endorsed by the signature, the actual or purported facsimile signature, or the oral direction of any of the authorized signers below, provided, however, that any check, draft, note, bill of exchange, acceptance, undertaking, or other instrument for the payment, transfer, or withdrawal must bear the actual or purported facsimile signature of any of the authorized signatures below. And resolved that any authorized signer acting alone be and hereby is authorized on behalf of the city to endorse, negotiate, and collect any and all checks, drafts, notes, bills of exchange, acceptances, undertakings, and other instruments, and to open and close and update information on any account of the city at the bank. And resolved that any of the authorized signers below acting alone be and hereby is authorized on behalf of the city to instruct orally or by such other means as the bank may make available to city, that bank to initiate the transfer of funds by wire, telex, automated clearinghouse, book, entry, compute, or other such other means. Let me fix that. Compute or such other means, and to execute agreements with the bank for the transfer of funds from any of the city's accounts, and to delegate from time to time to other persons the authority to initiate the transfer of funds from any such account. And resolved that any authorized signer acting alone be and hereby is authorized on behalf of the city to enter into a written lease for the purpose of renting, maintaining, and assessing a safe deposit box, and any authorized signer is authorized to terminate the lease. And resolved that the bank may rely on any signature, endorsement, or order, and any facsimile signature or oral instruction reasonably believed by the bank to be made by an authorized signer, and the bank may act on any direction of an authorized signer without inquiry and without regard to the application of the proceeds thereof, provided that the bank acts in good faith. And resolved the bank may rely on this document and on any certificate by an authorized representative of the city as to the names and signatures of the authorized signers of the city until the bank has actually received written notice of a change and has had a reasonable period of time to act on such notice. And resolved that the city agrees to notify the bank promptly and in writing of any change in A, these resolutions, B, the identity of persons authorized to sign, endorse, or otherwise authorize payments, transfers, or withdrawals, C, ownership of the city or the city's legal structure or status, including the city's dissolution or bankruptcy. And resolve that any of the following person or persons from time to time holding offices of the city be and hereby are designated as the authorized signers to act on behalf of the city in accordance with the above resolutions. Named Richard Troutman, and his title is Chief Financial Officer. Eleanor Golson, our City Treasurer, and Joy Taylor, our City Controller. Resolved that there are no other persons currently designated as authorized signers on behalf of the city. The city is controlled by a governing body. Each individual executing this document certifies and warrants that she or he is duly authorized to act on behalf of the city in all matters pertaining to its rights, responsibilities, and activities in connection with the foregoing, including but not limited to executing this document on behalf of the city.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Well done.
Yes.
As you were reading it, I was thinking that this is probably the terms and conditions that we sign at our bank when we add a signer. So you'll never have to read them at your bank again. She just did it for us. Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson, Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes. That was it, right?
That's it.
That's it, very good. We do have a reports. Do we have any reports? Chief of Staff, any directors? Yes.
Hi, Eleanor Golson, City Treasurer. I just wanted to basically reiterate as far as the tax bills for 2025 are completely out, and we are receiving quite a bit of revenue in the past few weeks. So that is out. I also wanted to also reiterate on the time changes for the tax bills this year. Our discount periods are now have changed, and we have informed the public of this on different levels. We've had it on our city website, on our Facebook website, it's on the bills, and I believe it's on the City Chester website, so that the public can know on all levels that we have changed the dates. Discount periods in March 30th instead of April 30th, and base period ends May 30th instead of June 30th. So I just wanted to just reiterate on that. And our 2024 tax bills are still ending on the 15th, which is the weekend. So it was going to be Monday, but we're closed Monday, so Tuesday is the final day to pay the 2024 tax bills. And then after that, anything that's left will all be going to e-collect. Okay? Yes. Yes.
Just one date, and that's the date for the new bills that are going out. When
The-
are they considered late?
The new bills?
Mm-hmm.
The new bills are considered late December 31st.
There we go.
Yes. That's when they are. So that's the changes for this year and going forward. Okay?
Thank you. So just to add a little bit more to that, if you have not paid your 2024 tax bill, it's not considered late until February,
It's going to be the 18th now.
18th.
Because we're closed Monday.
February 18th. But all of us should have received our 2025 tax bill. So I don't want people to get confused, because if you received your 2025 tax bill in the mail, which I know I received mine, and you haven't paid your 2024, what you receive for 2025 is not a reminder to pay 2024. But the 2025 tax bill will not go into the following year, February 16th, 2026. It is considered late after December 31st, 2025. We're just following a calendar year now. Very good. Any other reports, directors? All right, we're going to go into a Yes. Where is he? There he is, our fire commissioner, John Paul Shirley. Comes out with props. Yeah, why not? So you may recall, last council meeting we talked about Cyclomedia. Cyclomedia is a company that was hired to do a blight survey around the city. They looked at every property and categorized the conditions of properties ranging from a 1, meaning it's fine, and there were 92% of those in that category, all the way up to a 5, which was, we got to knock those down right away. And I will say, just this week, last week, we sat down in a room and About a dozen properties we identified that,
A little over a dozen.
yeah, that are going to come down very soon, very soon. And these would be in that 5 category. You can take it from here.
All right. Thank you. Mayor, Council, members of the public, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm just going to be talking about a vacant building placard marking system. Justin, if you could, first slide, please. So as you're aware, the city's fire code is the 2018 International Fire Code. Within that fire code, in Chapter 3, it addresses vacant premises, and particularly a placarding system for those vacant premises. In 2022, my predecessor, part of a FEMA Assistance to Firefighter grant that we were awarded, part of those funds were earmarked for vacant building placards. Next slide, please. So within the International Fire Code, there's basically 3 levels of in the placarding system, depending on the structural condition of the vacant premise. The first one, as you can see, is just a solid red background. That's a normal structural condition. There's really no safety issues. It's safe to fight a fire in. The second one is that there are some hazards that do exist, and extreme caution should be given to when firefighters are going to go in and operate and fight fires in these vacant buildings, and that's designated by a single white slash. The third one is extreme hazards, basically that we shouldn't be going in and fighting fires in these buildings. They pose a significant risk to the safety of our firefighters. These are the only placards that we are going to be affixing to buildings to just give our firefighters a heads up on safety. And there's an example of what the placard will look like when it's affixed to the building. So next slide for me. Currently, we do have, and through our 911 dispatching system, we do have a way to digitally identify these buildings. So as you can see here, this property address at 1302 West 3rd, we've identified it with the basically do not enter symbol, and basically, hey, no go, it's missing the C sidewall. And for firefighting purposes, the front of the building is the A side, the right side's the B, the rear is the C, the left side's the D, to kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about. But if you actually look, next slide, please. When we're actually looking at the front of the building looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty secure, all right? But if we were to take a walk around out back, that's what the building looks like. And we want to prevent our firefighters that even if they miss this, key in the digital dispatch information, that, they don't pull that board off and go in and fight this fire and, wind up becoming seriously injured or killed. Next slide, please. Same thing here. We have an occupied structure right next to, a vacant structure right next to a occupied structure. And again, if that building was on fire in the heat of the moment, we might be saying, hey, we're going to have to go in there, save lives. But if you look around back, that's what they'd be walking into. All right. So again, these placards are only going to be affixed to structures that have serious structural conditions that we just basically need to make sure that our firefighters are safe. Every year, well, I should say, there have been dozens of firefighters killed and thousands of firefighters injured while fighting vacant building fires. Knock on wood, we had 3 that were injured at the end of 2022 in a vacant building fire on Baker Street, and unfortunately it ended the career of one of our firefighters, but thankfully they lived. But this right here happened in a city about an hour from here, and this happened about 3 years ago, January of 2022. There was a vacant structure that actually had some significant structural damage to it, as well as there was some previous fires. And these firefighters right here, this is actually, this picture was taken a couple moments before that 3 of them lost their lives. So it's just it's a hazard that we faced. We have the opportunity to deploy these placards to make sure that our firefighters are safe. Again, it's only going to be going on buildings that are extremely structurally deficient. I will be working with Community and Economic Development with comparing the Cyclomedia list of what they have as vacant structures It's my understanding that that was kind of like Google Maps where they drove around and it was based on a camera system. About 2 years ago, our firefighters actually hit the streets. We walked up and down every block. We physically put our eyes on it. We looked at the buildings. We looked at the rears of these buildings, you know, to get a really good idea. And we have that list. We're going to compare it and also work with community and economic development to, you know, kind of identify these buildings and which ones should be taken down or put on a priority list. But I just wanted to make you guys aware of it so that if you were driving around and you happen to see these funny-looking signs on the sides of buildings, that's what they're mean for, and it's for the safety of our firefighters. That's all I really have to say. If anyone has any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to address them. Yes, Mayor.
You have a metal sign up there. That's not what's going up on the homes, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
So the metal sign, when we first were awarded the grant, we were looking at the vacant building marking placards. We did go with metal initially, but in discussions actually with the city that tragically lost these firefighters, they lost a lot of them to scrappers. People were going around removing them and taking the scrap yards. So we actually, the ones we have now, they're made of Corofran, kind of like the signs you put up for, you know, voting and stuff like that. So they're good for the elements, but they're not really worth anything in scrap metal. But that was actually our first demo sign from one of the companies we were looking at ordering it from, and I brought it here. But no, they'll be Corofan, they will not be metal.
How many do you expect to be putting up?
Right now, on our, we have approximately 500 buildings off of our 911 software. Most of those are what we would consider no-go buildings.
There's 500 no-go buildings?
From our assessment 2 years ago. But we're going to be going out and, you know, re-verifying that data. There was also some other ones that are listed as like caution, like, you know, kind of like that in between, you know, safety. But what we plan on doing is based on that list that we compiled 2 years ago, we're going to go back and re-verify those properties. I will say I know for a fact one of them, and Kim will love this, but it's on the 500 block of Curlin that we have listed as a no-go property, but it's since been rehabbed. So there's probably gonna be buildings that have been either demolished or taken off that we're gonna need to scrub this list. And again, we'll also, you know, verify, hey, these are the buildings that we put signs on. So, but that's gonna be taking place probably, we'll probably, you'll see firefighters hitting the street beginning of March, when we start doing our vacant building surveys throughout the city. And it's something we used to do yearly. Unfortunately, we would compile a list and then the list would disappear. Now with technology, it's kind of in a place that we can draw the data from easily and refine it. And again, I'd be working with CED to compare what they have from their cyclomedia to what we have and so forth. So, good question. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, ma'am.
The 12 that are deemed absolutely dangerous, is that a list that the community would be able to know about the ones that you found that were deemed extremely dangerous and need to come down?
Yeah, I mean, we can make that, it's literally the software that we have for our 911 dispatches. It's as simple as downloading a spreadsheet. And if that's something that the public would be interested in having, we'd be happy to, you know, share it on a website or share it with other departments that they can publish it. But yeah, I have no problem sharing that information. Yeah, no, it's not there's nothing public facing. It's our software, and you kind of have to have administrator rights to download the map data. But it'd be something that we can definitely make available if they would like it.
I think we're talking two different things. You're talking about the dozen or so that I just mentioned?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a little different, but yeah, we can get you that list.
Those should be like the ones that would be on the demo list.
Right. Okay.
Okay, my apologies. I thought you were talking about all the buildings that we're facing. So, yeah.
Any other questions for our fire commissioner? Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to implore our public if you see a boarded up building in town and know that people are going inside and out, please let us know. The Cyclomedia data was a truck that just rode up and down the streets with their cameras, and they identified boarded up houses, almost assuming that they're all vacant. I know they're not. I know people are squatting in some of these boarded up buildings. So please, if you know of any of these boarded up buildings that you've seen people going in and out of, please let us know so we can update those records.
And Mayor, just to tack on, I didn't want to get into too much granular detail. I just want to give a general overview of it. But again, when our firefighters are out going up and down the streets doing these evaluations, one of the things we do look for when we're assessing a vacant building is that if it looks like it's, even though it might be, has its deplorable conditions, it's better than actually being outside. And we look for signs of habitation, and we mark that in our 911 system, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how bad a building condition is. If there's life in there, we are going to go in and try and save that life. So I don't want anyone thinking that, you know, hey, it's a bad building, we're not going in. If we realize, if in our evaluation we can see, like, yeah, there's people that are living here, you know, we mark that off that, hey, you know, there's probably someone present. So, and there's basically some fire department lingo we use for that. So, but I just want to follow up on that with, to your point. So, thank you.
But the fact still remains, they only do their surveys ever so often. If you see people going in and out of a boarded up building, please let us know so we can update their records. It's public comment time. Okay, didn't get any hesitation there. Before we do public comments, I want to just do a little clarification of what I said earlier. I had to catch myself, but we moved on. About that storage facility that's going on 10th and Morton, what I really wanted to say was that I don't have a problem with a storage facility in the city of Chester. It's just the location that is being put in would have been challenged if given the opportunity. And just for a little fun, I want to go back to Council Lady Gibson Williams and the Eagles. If you watched far enough into the game, you saw a interception run back for a touchdown. That individual who made that interception and ran back for a touchdown was right in our parking lot this summer. I don't know any Eagles. What's his name?
Cooper DeJean, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that's really exciting to know that somebody who was practically a rookie trying to make the team at the time that he came here turned out to be a Super Bowl hero.
I said that too. It was his birthday.
On his birthday, yeah. He was at the Sixers game last night. I saw him sitting on the front row. He still seems like he's in a dream. We'll start with Reverend Thaddeus Kirkland. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor, Council.
Good morning.
Just real quickly, I won't take up the whole 3 minutes this time. I was just trying to get a little update. 3 quick questions. We talked about the White Capitol in the past. I was just wanted to see where we are with that project, if that project is progressing or not. Where are we with the facade program? I know that we had conversations about that and beautification of downtown Chester. Just wanted to see if we were moving forward with that. And I also would like to know, I'm still trying to find out what projects have been produced by the economic development person, Mr. Buffalo. I do know it's probably well over $1.5 million that he has been awarded thus far. I haven't seen anything, but I know, for example, Councilwoman Gibson, I see you out there a lot providing food and clothing for a number of Chester residents, and I know that $2 million will go a long way in helping Chester residents. But I'm just trying to see if there's anything, if somebody can provide me with any information
Okay.
pertaining to Mr. Buffalo and the projects that he has produced or not produced.
All right, great.
Thank you.
You did that in a minute and a half. Good job. As much as our chief of staff likes to stay quiet, could you address the Dwight Capital and the facade program?
Yeah.
There have been some updates that are worthy of sharing.
Yes, sir. Reverend, there's been ongoing negotiations with Dwight City Group. I've personally been involved with those, and also with Lisa Gaffney at CETA. So there's some back and forth, but some of those issues that they've brought up previously have been resolved. There's some other issues that have come up. I'll be happy to talk to you privately about that if you'd like, just to give you an update. The facade improvement program, we met with the architect just last week. They're doing renderings for what the facades could look like. We'll be getting with the individual property owners. We're looking at 5 storefronts with phase 1. So the architect is preparing what those facades could look like, probably looking at a couple different options, and then we'll sit down with the individual property owners and the the operators of those stores, and we'll determine exactly what we want to move forward on. Once we have a consensus on that, we'll turn that over to our procurement officer, put those out for bid, and then we'll move to opening those bids, and then hopefully awarding contracts, and then getting to what we're all waiting to get to, which is seeing the facades improved. I'm not going to comment on Shilvosky. I'll leave that for others.
I was going to leave that one to me. I will follow up with the receivers team to get you an answer specifically on community and economic development projects that they're doing. I will speak to the fact that Mr. Buffalo and his team are working very hard in our newly formed community and economic development department, which is Community and Economic Development, L&I, Public Safety, and Department of Health, charting the direction that that organization is going to go. So I can speak to that specifically, but I know what you're looking for is what projects is he bringing to the table? And that's a fair question. I will get you an answer to that. But I will tell you, yeah, he's definitely working hard at creating a better community and economic development department, not to be confused with our Community Economic and Development Authority, which serves a slightly different purpose.
And I'll just make a slight comment on the Dwight City Group. I've been working on this project a long time, and I've been trying to get it done. I just met with Lisa and the chief last week, and I'm like, please, let's do everything we can to get this project off the ground. I want to see shovels in the ground. I want to see cranes in the air and really get this project. This project is going to mean so much to the downtown, and quite frankly, all of the business owners downtown wants to see this project, you know, come to fruition, because they know the property value will go up downtown as well, and we're going to bring a lot of new development. So it's my hope that this year everything is settled from the receivers team and what they want to see, and we really get this project up and going. So I know the chief and Lisa have really been working. You know, everyone's here is on board, is trying to get everything else that the receivers team is requesting from them. So it's my hope that in the near future, everything will be settled and this project will be up and going.
And to that point, I'm almost confident Dwight, the folks at Dwight wouldn't even tolerate this thing not getting done this year. They'd walk, so I'm pretty confident we're going to get it done much sooner than later. I almost called you Reverend. Dr. Nolan Fontaine.
Good morning, council, mayor.
Good morning.
Good to see y'all on this snowy Wednesday. First, I always just like to start off acknowledging the Okiakin and Lenapeakin folks of this land and their traditional territory. But more so, I am coming because I sent an email to council and mayor, as well as the chief of staff, and the receiver on February the 7th. I have only heard back from, and the state representative. I have heard back from the state representative, the receiver, and the mayor. But I have not heard back from council. So I figured I'd just come to y'all. One of the instances of why I was emailing was, I'm very transparent where I am spearheading along with Mr. Nixon and Mr. Turner. We are spearheading a petition to have a referendum question added to the May 2025 election. That question reads, shall the City of Chester Home Rule Charter be amended such that council members may not serve as department heads of one or more departments or agencies of the city government? One question that I would like to ask today is, I know that you are governed by Robert's Rules of Order. Instead, we're almost at 400, hedging 500 signatures, y'all. This is going to be on a referendum in the next couple months. We can continue to do this, or I am beseeching you. I'm asking if someone could make a motion to have this adopted and properly seconded, of course, to have this adopted as an amendment or as an ordinance. Right here, Johnny on the spot, just to show folks that you are very forthcoming about the future of the city. So that is my one ask. If no one is willing to make a motion with a proper second, I am then asking everyone else that is here in the room to please sign the petition. These will have to be turned in within the next few weeks to the County of Delaware for this to get added to the ballot for May. So I'm hoping that I have y'all support with that. I was a little disappointed that I didn't hear back from council. I'm very approachable. I know I'm an LV boy, but I'm very approachable, and I'm willing to work with y'all on this. I have a love for the city, veteran. My family's been here over 150 years. Y'all know the Fontaines, and I'm just willing to work with y'all and hoping that we can move forward on this. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. I will speak on behalf of Mayor and Council. We will discuss this and determine whether it will be on our next agenda for the next council meeting. That was it for public comment. Did someone, since we have so few here, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Salim. While he's coming up, I want to remind you guys, make sure you pick up one of these. They're on the outside table. When I saw Dr. Fontaine step up, I was reminded that he will be featured in one of the mayor's lecture series on Tuesday, April 8th, MLK's American Indian and Chester Roots. He'll be joined by Miss Phoenix Moon. They are both a part of the Urban Indian Heritage Society. And we did have a lecture series, was it last Tuesday? With MVP Recovery. I encourage you guys to go online and check that one out. That was very, very good. Mr. Salim, you've got a whole 3 minutes.
Inshallah, God's willing. My name is Amin Abdul Salim. You know, there's an old expression goes, how's it go, right? You have all, you know, I have nothing but time or something of that nature. But certainly in dealing here, you know, we want to abide by the rules and so forth, certainly. Because all the time moving forward, it belongs to our Lord. And if you are with that, then certainly you have, all you have is time. And time to build as well, to do the right thing. Those who do not, are not here, do not have time. Their time is running out. Inshallah, God's will. MashaAllah, this God's will. So with that, sir, I just like to make a brief comment. See, they said education is what make you leader. That's just, I was trying to get to where it come from, but if you can just, education is what make you leader, okay? So if I may share with you, sir, and Councilor Shirley and people, it says that the way is sincerity. The way is sincerity. There's no other way out of this or through this but sincerity. And certainly we want to get to that sincerity. It says also to, God said, what is this world but play and amusement? So in sincerity, the way, play, and amusement. What is this world but play and amusement? God asks us this. We have football, we have play the numbers and gambling, this and that, and so on and so on. So we certainly want to get to the sincerity of life. Now, as they say, if you don't know, you should ask someone or something. But this is, if you will, the Big Apple, the New York, you know, it's been mentioned of them, if you will, sir. It's a city that never sleeps, you know, never sleeps, you know. Gambling, so on, so on, so on, so on. We want to get to the sincerity of life.
30 seconds, sir.
We want to get to the sincerity of life. Chester is unique. No one can handle Chester but us. God, you know, left it for us. He put it in our hands. And it's a mercy to all. It's not that. It's a mercy to all. I want to just quit at this point, but maybe I said enough that would, expression go prick your consciousness or something, but make you think, you know, make you think. The way is sincerity. No other way through this but this sincerity. What is this world but play and amusement? You know. So, with those two statements or three, inshallah, God's willing, I will start with that, sir. And I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for coming out today on this somewhat snowy day. Did you have something?
No, I was just telling Mr. Salim thank you, that's all.
I have something to say.
Yeah, it's our turn.
Okay. So I'd like to first thank all of the volunteers that are in the city of Chester for making sure that those that need food get it. Ms. Taylor, thank you so very much for all that you do in making sure people get the food resources that they need. I know that there are many nonprofit organizations in the city who do the same thing. But when I watch you guys at Chester High School on the loading docks, you treat people with such dignity and respect that they're not ashamed to come and get the food that is given to them. So I thank you for that, and for providing the office supplies back to the community through Caring Alliance in Philadelphia. If there are members of the public who knows of an organization who rescues food, please have them contact me. There is help available in the way of grants to help them with transportation, transporting the food from various locations that are giving the resources out. And there's an organization called Caring for Friends that will help the nonprofit organizations obtain the vehicle and the information that's needed. The name of the grant is called the Fridge Grant, and it's for vehicles and or refrigeration. So if anyone knows of a nonprofit who rescues food or would like to rescue food, please get in touch with me so that I can put you in touch with Mr. Savoni with Caring for Friends. I can be reached here in the city of Chester. My email is tgibson@chestercity.com. That's all I have to say, but thank you for making sure that people get what they need. You are appreciated. He has his hand up. Oh, you can have my phone number, 267, everybody got it, 473-1505. Don't call me after 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm asleep.
Anyone else?
No, that's okay. That's all right.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Council's adjourned. Thank you.
Tommy, that is another work phone. Everybody got that number.
Hey, how are you?